no, this is not a channel where we debunk apocalypse, fear-mongery TikTok videos. This is not really a channel where I will ever be interested in doing that, but I was asked to do this one in particular, and I said no to that person initially, and then it had been asked again by a different person, and it has popped up at my feed several times. There is a lot of anxiety that people are feeling because the world situation is pretty bad and unstable, which means that any account that wants to sell you fear has a very easy time doing it. These kind of people tend to have some sort of product to sell just before said apocalypse falls from the sky and eradicates everybody. Not a singular apocalypse prediction has so far come true, and trust me, there are new ones fairly often. And even if they don't have you a product to sell, they tend to be able to quickly either grow a cult following, grow in views, grow popularity, collect ad revenue. They can profit from making you afraid, or at the very least making you curious very easily. So for this video in particular, we're going to be watching an embed of it inside a Reddit post, meaning that the lady that made the video will not be receiving anything from it. I do suggest that if you want to make a video on the video or anything of this sort, you don't go to the source of the video or to any of this lady's multimedia channels, because even if she doesn't believe in her own things, if she believes that this is all bullshit, she has already scammed you if she got your view. So don't give her views, don't give her direct attention. If you have to talk about this, get an embed on any other kind of Reddit or website or whatever. This particular embed is on Reddit called TikTok Cringe, but I covered up the name of the Reddit for better viewing atmosphere and enjoy my ASMR of me hitting my hands into my microphone on accident. I am very, very sorry, microphone. So what we're gonna do effectively here is to alleviate a couple of fears by just asking well-pointed questions as things progress. So let's just watch the video together and react to it. But once again, normally if you encounter an apocalyptic prediction, whatever you do, don't give that person attention. That is precisely what they want. Move along. Best case scenario for these sort of things, nobody hears them. Nobody sees them. Nobody gives them any kind of attention, any kind of views, any of anything. No ad revenue, no money, no way to profit off this. Just keep on moving. You're not gonna help by arguing with that person. You're not gonna help by mocking said person. The best thing that you can do is ignore their existence. So please, don't bring these sort of videos into other platforms, even if these platforms are of mocking type. Don't spread it around. I think because of this kind of spreading it around, the last time I checked, which was through Google and not through TikTok, this specific account collected something like over 80 million views on this one particular video of theirs. And that number will probably continue growing just through people even ironically mentioning it or mocking it or whatever. It drives traffic of people that fell for it, of people that go, well, this sounds convincing, or I am afraid, or look outside your window, of course the world is ending. It doesn't help. It absolutely does not help. So if you can, leave it alone. We're watching this one video, this one time. We're not addressing any other apocalypse theories, TikToks, videos, or any kind of other sort of thing like this. whenever this comes up, it is 100% a grift. So don't fall victim to it. Don't give the person attention or money or views or anything else in any way whatsoever. This shouldn't be a profitable industry, but it is. Duping other people, getting them to believe that the world is ending, getting them afraid is very incredibly profitable. So don't fall into it. Anyway, let's actually get on to watching.
So, given the state of the world right now, I feel compelled to share with TikTok something I don't that because it makes me sound insane. And I don't know if it's real or not or what it is. But basically, since 2013, me and my husband have essentially been talking to some thing on a Ouija board that goes by the name of Seven, who has been telling us that the world.
She's been playing a party game and she's been receiving messages from a thing that identified as Seven. Ouija board, even if you want to use it for spiritual purposes, effectively works from the fact that it is two people or more guiding a little plate around on a word board. If you're alone, it won't quite work, but if you're with somebody else, you're gonna subtly nudge towards what you think that the word that's being spelled is supposed to be. The other person will be doing the same. You will end up with actually legible words. It is a bit fun, like a little game sort of thing. You shouldn't be investing serious belief into it. It is sold as a party toy, despite what horror movies like to portray it as.
world is going to end May 27th, 2025. And I have pages and pages and pages of our correspondence with this thing, like pages and pages and pages. And I have it here, raw, just what I've written down, and I have it on Google Docs. In Google Docs, it comes out to like 80 some pages. And I should preface this by saying I'm a normal person. My husband's a normal person. We have jobs. We're not witches. We're not Satanists. We don't do stuff like this.
So, if you're gonna target and attack a random religion, I know why you're doing it. Because you wanna defend yourself against the most popular religions in the world that will be like, you're talking to the devil. But if you're gonna attack Satanists, please read up on what Satanism is. A lot of them are atheists that are using a sort of way to live their lives and a mockery of another religion in order to effectively fight against it, especially when it comes to political matters and when it comes to very unfair treatment of other people by said religion. Of course, that is not all that Satanism is, but there are a lot of branches. And it's not people drawing pentagrams while wearing robes, sacrificing babies to the fire. I don't know what people imagine Satanism is, but don't just come out and attack something that you don't understand with a throwaway sentence. You're better served reading up about it. And then you decided to target an even bigger percent of the population, which is people that identify with some sort of practice of witchcraft. These tend to be cultural practices and folk ways of dealing with things. In Christian countries, these also tend to include things like reading specific psalms over people that are sick, or blessing houses, or otherwise incorporating religious symbology in a way that might disagree with organized religion, but has been used as a folk practice for a very long time. It's not, once again, it's not people in robes with candlesticks drawing pentagrams, sacrificing babies to the fire, or whatever you imagine either of those to be, it tends to involve a lot of people practicing their folk and cultural practices. You might want to not use words if you haven't fully read up upon them and understand what they mean, because attacking a large part of a population in a video is never the best idea, especially like a throwaway sentence. And I know that this is a very common thing to do in culture. So if you're watching this video, consider not doing that.
We started this as for fun in 2013, July 2013. We had nothing else to do. We got on a Ouija board for fun. And it just kind of took off from there. And we have continued to talk to it. And I should also say, we're not like super smart people, right? We're not like geniuses. But this thing kind of seems like it is. Let me show you. So it does stuff like speak in binary. By speak, I mean, it's giving us ones and zeros to write down on the Ouija board. I'm recording this. And in the moment, we have no idea what this means. We Googled it later. This is, again, July 2013. And it turns out it's binary, but it's backwards binary. So in this way...
What kind of reach is that? We couldn't receive any useful information, so we recorded ones and zeros that we were getting, and it turns out it is backwards binary? You know how Ouija boards work, right? You know that spiritually, if a spirit wants to say hello to you, it does not require you to turn numbers inside out and try to find meaning inside of them. H, E, L, L, and O are definitely on the board, and that L is the same L, but you can, scramble around and find it again. When you need to involve backwards binary, you're reaching quite far.
It meant nothing, but when we reversed the numbers, it meant hello, because it does that a lot. It speaks backwards a lot. This is where it gets really crazy. So this was, I guess, the day before, because we got kind of addicted. So it speaks also in backwards languages that we don't speak. We don't speak it forwards. We don't speak it backwards. This is, I believe it was Latin. I believe it means salutations or something like that. I have all the details in my Google Doc. But this is kind of the way it speaks. It is coming, fire, yes, stop it. A lot of mysterious stuff, a lot of spooky, weird stuff. This is where it gets really weird. We've learned through all this communication that according to 7, there are 5 groups. We are the third contact. Contact 1 failed 24,825 days ago. So from this date, we did the math, that comes out to August 6th, 1945. That is the date that the first atomic bomb was dropped. So my husband knows a lot about history.
So did the world end?
He doesn't know the exact date that the bomb was dropped. He certainly doesn't know he can't account for leap years. I mean, he's good at math, but he can't do math like that. It's perfect. Math is perfect. He can't.
I can prove to you that this is a spirit because my husband cannot do math.
Do stuff like that. I can't do stuff like that. So the fact that it's a perfect more than once, I'll show you other examples here, is really scary. It's scary. It goes on to say contact 2 succeeded 18,534 days ago, which was August, I think that's 17th, 1962. I think that had something to do with JFK and the Bay of Pigs. I'd have to look at my doc. But historically, contact 3, that's us, fails 29,149 days after contact 1. 4,324 days in your future, which is May 27th, 2025, which it later says. And then,
So if you were an ultra powerful race of ghost aliens or whatever, and you wanted to warn a world about impending doom, do you do this the normal way? In the language that they're gonna be speaking? Towards people that can do something about it? Or do you do it in backwards binary towards a couple of people that self identify as not being that smart?
Here's some like ancient Sumerian thrown in there just for fun.
So, here's the thing. There's no such thing as ancient Sumerian because it's broken down into time periods. Because as a language, it changed. And it wouldn't be spelled with English letters because it didn't use the English alphabet, which is what you have on a Ouija board. And here's another great thing. We have no idea what the fuck any of the ancient Sumerian time periods their spoken word would have sounded like because nobody speaks it and nobody was ever recorded speaking it. There's not even like any other language trying to tell us how things are pronounced in any of the time periods. How would you determine that anything written in the English alphabet is any period of ancient Sumerian? If you want to dupe people, try fucking harder because that is insulting to the intelligence of a lot of others. And hey, apparently it worked because why are people that gullible? Please don't.
Again, had no idea what we were writing in the moment, but we later looked it up and kind of broke out the letters and realized we'd written down things like, referencing the mountain or mother goddess, reach the mountain in Sumerian.
You know what ancient Sumerian, any of them, any period sounded like? Contact linguistic people, contact archaeologists, contact the nearest museum because you have a huge breakdown on your hands. But you don't. You just want to dupe some gullible people.
And again, we're not historians. We don't know anything about the ancient Sumerians. We, watched some Ancient Aliens.
Well then, how the fuck did you determine it to be ancient Sumerian? I would still love an answer. And which period, please? What did you match it to? What did you match it to? Google wouldn't have just given you an answer about what the heck you're spelling out. What artifact were you... You're not a historian. You don't have historian friends. You don't have people into dead ancient languages. You don't work in a museum.
And stuff like that. But I don't know what this is. I don't know what it wants. I don't know. And again, there are so many pages of this. And I'm happy to share them with whoever might be interested. I don't talk about this much with people. We have in the past, when we get a few drinks in us, and we're with people that we think we can trust and who won't think we're insane. We have shared this with people. They either kind of wave it off, they're like, oh, that's cool, or they pretend, they say they're interested, but then they never really follow up and say, hey, I'd love to see those. Can you share me on those docs? So we just kind of assumed either it just kind of like freaks people out, or we just sound nuts, or it's really not that interesting. But so this has just kind of been a private little secret thing that we've had in our lives since 2013. And when we first had this conversation about the end of the world, 2025 felt like forever from then. It just felt like millions of years in the future, but now it's here and our world is crazy. And I don't know. I don't know what to do with this information. Anyway, does anyone out there want to know? Does anyone have any idea what this is and want to look at these documents and help me make sense of it and help me save Seven? Why is his name Seven?
Where did saving 7 came from?
I don't know. I don't know what any of this is, but it felt like the right
It's doodles.
time to share this with people. TikTok felt like the right place for it. I don't know. Let me know. Help me save Seven. Thanks for listening.
Well, that was the worst alternative reality role-playing game that I've ever investigated. So, can we just talk about another problem? Which is something that I was just doing, and something that a lot of people do in the comment section down below. Multiple different comment sections, especially the people that actually got scared by this. A lady approaches you with a notepad and 80 pages written in like a regular pen of complete utter nonsense, like backwards binary and ancient Sumerian. And the first thing that we do is automatically believe her. I've been contacting a spirit using this method. So I commented on the method. I am not a Satanist nor a witch. So I commented on that part. It's spelling binary backwards. Commented on that part. Let's address the first and foremost point. Why should you even believe that any of that has remotely happened? It is a lady with a notepad with a whole bunch of dribble written in it. Oh, my husband's really bad at math, and this amount of days just goes back to the first atomic bomb from when we were writing it down. Yeah, Google how much time there is between date Y and date X. Write it down. Figure out the kind of script that you're writing. Congratulations, you now have a story to tell. Whenever somebody is bringing you something that is utter bollocks, even if we do believe it, even if we actually go into the story and start breaking it down, the burden of proof that the story even happened is on them. And all we have here is a lady with a notebook, a pen, and a Google document where she registered what is in her notebook. What I'm trying to tell you is that when a person approaches you and goes, I did X and Y, and I'm talking to the spirit, and it's telling me that the apocalypse is coming, don't just start with the holes in their story. Start with, why should I believe that anything in that story has happened to begin with? And it wasn't just somebody's creative, fictional writing exercise. This is the first point. I don't suggest going any deeper than the first point. We did this one for fun, but for God's sakes, people, be a little bit less gullible, please. I know that especially with the space like TikTok, a lot of people that are there are a lot younger than me. For them, this might be their first apocalyptic rodeo. For a lot of older people, even the games that I grew up playing, that I really loved as a teenager, were making fun out of people predicting the apocalypse, because this thing goes back really, really, really far back. If you want to go very far back from what we have as written books, look no further than the Bible. Jesus' second coming is totally coming, guys. Has been totally coming for the last 2,000 years. It's totally coming. Everybody's gonna get judged then. The only reason why I'm using that example is because it is a written example of apocalyptic way of thinking. Every single generation is gonna encounter people preaching the apocalypse. There's nothing good for you in believing that. There's nothing positive in there. On the other hand, you can lose your time, your nerves, and your money funding somebody that just wanted a little bit of attention and fame, and chances are to run away with the wealth when that thing inevitably falls through, like it has many, many times before. Alternatively, there are doomsday cults get sprung out, and the cult leaders start preaching about new days of the apocalypse until eventually the day of the apocalypse becomes some sort of vague the future, or the cult leader just leads everyone to, let's just say, commit a group big nap that you don't wake up from. It never leads anywhere good. So don't give these people any kind of attention. See it as an insult to your intelligence. See it as a grift, and see it as a scam, because that's what it is. And that is where we're gonna end ever looking into apocalyptic predictions on any kind of platform on this YouTube channel. We focus on things that we actually care about in here. And I gotta tell you how little care I can give to such a thing that the slightest bowel movement of the gaming industry would overshadow some lady's apocalyptic predictions on TikTok for me. That's how little I care. And that's how little you should care too. But thank you for watching, especially if you have watched this far down. This is like right at the end of the video. Congratulations, you got here. That kind of attention span is something to be proud of in the days of short form video. I hope that this served to alleviate the fears somewhat, especially for people that have had said fears. Please don't fall to these kind of scams. When you see yourself falling down this rabbit hole, go and watch something that's a lot more positive. Go and watch some kitty videos for me, please. It will put a smile on your face. It will make your day better. You're gonna go and do your stuff with a lot less stress and nerves and fear, and a head filled with utter nonsense from people that can profit from your fear on platforms that they should definitely not be preaching on. Anyway, if you like occult, tabletops, and gaming, especially gaming, look around the rest of this channel, because I do a lot of those videos. We tend to be a pretty happy place in here. We tend to talk about things that hopefully doesn't give everyone existential anxiety. I hope. If you start getting that off video games, just put everything down and go touch grass. So yeah, normally this is a happy place, and that's how I intend to keep it. So thank you for watching. I hope I'm gonna see you on my other videos, and toodaloo for now.